Computers. Perfect. Hello, everyone. Today is our day 4. Today we will be focusing on a lot of things, and we will start connecting the dots. And tomorrow we will really connect the dots. And I think you will have even more clearer picture for you to really, like, you either focus on things and like you. So what I want to say, that it's a lot of things that I'm talking about, and some things you might say, well, this is not mine. So you zoom out, and this will be something that can be, oh yeah, I have to focus there. And that's the whole point of personalized approach, because that's what I love about functional medicine. Because in modern medicine, which is, as I said, this is not anti-modern medicine presentation. It's not. This is just that I create something that goes aligned with that, along with that, because we have to look to the body as a system. And as I told you, it doesn't matter what phenotype you have. There is something out of balance in your body, and that's why you have the symptoms that you have. And when we start understand this, then we will be master of our body, and we will then be able to heal whatever comes our way. So I just answered some question. Yes, so I will talk about neurogenic tomorrow, because that's on the agenda anyway. And Candida, because I know that is issue. Yes, Candida will be definitely issue and needs to be treated. That's where you have to, people who have Candida has to either do some treatment. We have some antifungal treatment, or really stop carbohydrates, because Candida, when it has sugar, like, it will grow and will make you crave more sugar. And it's very often we have this type of microbiome when we are on antibiotics. That's why so many people suffer from Candida. I think I had Candida too, even I didn't took antibiotics, but I just developed somehow. I never tested it, but when I look back on my symptomatology, I think it very often, very likely. So yeah, it's good that you can test. If you can test your gut, that will be something that I would definitely do, because this will give you answers, and very quickly and very fast. So it's something that I would definitely will, if you can, either from your physician that is interested in doing these tests, which are in the US is Genova or GI Map. In the UK now, I will start doing the Genova. So whoever is in the UK here, I'm able to like help you with that. And so we always, of course, this is like, you can really then know what's going on, because you will identify the triggers. Like if you have Helicobacter pylori, the thing is that, again, it's we have to work as a whole. So it's not like we're not treating Helicobacter coli as such, or Candida, but we have to again think, okay, what are the consequences of if I have the Candida long term, because that will really make you really crave sugar, and you will ended up eating sugar because the craving is huge. So that's just for now. And yes, small intestinal SIBO, small intestinal, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth is very often the case. For that, what excellently work is the food map diet, which is, again, it's not for life. It's like short term. Then you really only find what are the triggers and then you will identify it. You will help your body that get better. It can maybe takes months or 6 weeks, and then you can slowly incorporate other foods, because you don't want to be on a restrictive diet for your whole life. And again, like I am for a whole diet. It doesn't matter if it's keto or if it's that keto is tricky, because a lot of people having, I told you before, the fat is the wrong source, and then you can cause even more inflammation if you're doing wrongly. But vegan, if you do really good vegan, a lot of vegetables, and like this 30 to 50 vegetables a week, you can succeed. So it's not about what type of diet, but it's about what you find that is really going to suit you. And that's why it can really varies. Even in a food diet, it can still, like this That's why the personalized approach, again, it's just powerful, and it's only way how we can improve. It's only way how we can improve. Okay, so I have to now pause the question. Anything that will kind of ferment in the body, I cannot give you medical advice, but we can have a call, Antonia, if you want to talk about it more, about the Candida and the SIBO. Actually, I know the girl that she is based in Vienna. She does this, she specializes in it, but we can talk about it. So today I like that we go and we move from, as we started, with the mind and with the soul, because that's really important. And we know, I mean, even Einstein knew that the energy, but we now came down into the body. And as I said before, the belief is so important. The confidence that you can heal is so important. I always say that you either approach this as a queen or as a goddess. If you approach this as a queen, this will be like you ticking the boxes. You want to quickly do all the stuff because you want to heal, instead of looking from this as a goddess, looking from this place of like from the rich place where you know that you just give it the body time as it needs to heal, and you not push and press, you don't pressing any buttons like you do it quickly because the body work, because it's more, it's just that you see the energy and mindset shift. If we love the body as it is, and because then you are really putting on the parasympathetic system in the front instead of the sympathetic, instead of when you are in this you know, driving your body to do stuff that you want that the body does, you are still running the stress. And we know that stress is huge. I will talk about stress tomorrow in more detail. I touch it today a little bit, but tomorrow I will talk about it more. That's why when I run my programs, we do meditation every week until people master it. It's just so important because we are all stressed. We all stressed a little or more. We all have very stressful lifestyle, which creates not only rosacea, but creates all sorts of other diseases. And the rosacea, thank God, it's little symptom, even it looks horrible, but be happy we have little symptoms instead of something that we don't see that grows, and then we have a diagnosis. So whatever you have, say thank you, because it's really showing you a way that you have to pause, you have to stop and look in the, like, what the body needs to that you have to change, because something is definitely off. For many people is the insulin resistance. This is a big pillar. I told you before, that's the inflammation that is driving, that's the lifestyle that majority of people have. We know that 88% of population in the US has this problem. So of course, like it's easy because that's the lifestyle that is everywhere, starting from school to the work where you go to eat, to a supermarket when you shop the food. It's so easy to make this decision to become in this, you know, in this obesogenic environment. When we have this decision and we just slide, even in the going to restaurant, it's much easier to have this instead of a place when they you know, cooking with olive oil, they using only organic food. And you know, if you find this place, this is amazing, but it's not very common in the Western kind of society. So if you live somewhere in Italy where they do that, it's great. But even in Italy, there are places where, no, but majority places in Italy are fantastic. So for example, right, there are places that are better and worse, but we just have to find something that suits us. And so that's a big pillar. I will talk about this, the whole picture tomorrow. But yesterday as well, you were asking me about the elimination diet, and so, you know, we know that grains are not ideal, because we know that, you know, the gluten and other grains can really this is something that I will post long term. Like elimination diet is that a diagnostic tool to find out your triggers. That's what we use, and even there are tests for food sensitivity. I would do it after you do the elimination diet, because elimination diet will as well help you to heal the gut. And you will find out which food are good for you to eat and which food are not good for you to eat, and as well which beverages you can drink. As I told you, with beer, with wine, some people, they stop even drinking wine because they find even, I know that some people say, well, I'll never stop drinking wine. It's okay, because their value in the value system is, I want to socialize, I want to enjoy the wine, and it's fine. But if you want to heal, and your health is the biggest, like the value in your value system, then you say, well, what if I stop drinking wine? Because then you will be able to come back to it, but you will have different feedback mechanism, because you know, so I cannot just have this much, because then I know that it will not feel good, because I can tell you that your body will feel completely different, and you will have you will be so sensitive. And it's amazing place to be, because then you can really tune into your body and really, as I said yesterday, the doctor is not the answer. Even we need a doctor. If you come to me and I operate your eye, take a cataract out, yes, this is fantastic. But with chronic diseases, we have to master it ourselves. And this is something that I had to learn myself. This is like my biggest ego death, doctor's ego death. Because I have to say to myself, well, yes, I really don't know your body better than you. You have to master it. And this is why I developed this 5 days, because I want to just show you that it's possible. And this is, we know from functional medicine, it's something that we are big promoters, and we have tons of tests. But at the end of the day, it will be your work at home, how you really make it work. And because it's daily practice, really, it's daily practice. Put intention into it and really say, okay, do I really want to heal, or I just want some quick fixes? Because quick fixes, they don't work. Symptomatology, like, yes, we can take a pill for headache, but like, why we have a headache in the first place? So there are different approaches. So yeah, so you can find out what are the not only food, but as well what is the environmental changes that are, some people telling me. So I lived all over the world. I live in Australia with rosacea, I live in Czech Republic, in Europe, I live in Germany, I live in UK and in US, and in all these countries I had rosacea. But I can tell you, so it's not really it doesn't matter, the weather doesn't influence it that much. It does and it doesn't. It does. What I mean is that if you are living somewhere where is majority of the year is really freezing, I think your skin will be really suffering, because as you don't put too much, you cannot put too much of protection, you will be really having a hard time to, I mean, this is obvious, I don't need to talk about it. But if you have a chance and to go somewhere into the coastal area where is a sea, what I do, when I'm experiencing this, just let the bugs be on the microbes be on your skin. And really, I sometimes just wash with water and nothing else, and I only SPF is tricky. I hope I will talk with Shannon, the founder of Merida, soon, because she's developing SPF, because only SPF at the moment I think is the safest, is the zinc oxide. It's like, but you ended up being white, which is really annoying. So it's like SPF is really tricky. So what I'm trying to do is, and by the way, SPF you can influence as well from the inside out. So in that way, if I know I will be somewhere where when the summer is coming, I'm eating a lot of orange and red vegetables and fruits, not vegetables more, and then you create the SPF from the inside, and it's really works magic. I mean, the beta carotene is huge, and it's very powerful, and they can help you as well. But you can't count on it, because you can't measure it, like what is the threshold that I will not burn. But I can tell you, now I never burn, because I have this attitude for years now. And if I really go somewhere where it's really heat, I think the UV is one thing, but the heat is a second, that is really, I think it's worse. Well, I can't tell if it's worse, just my experience. But I found that the UV light, yes, we know that it's causing aging, because it, the oxidative stress and free radicals. But the heat, like the hot on the skin, that's why I'm really big promoter of cold showers. Oh my gosh, I'm going out of completely. I have like bullet points here. And I just want to share with you this, because it's so important. So cold showers are fantastic. That's why if you can go into the sea like every morning and even if it's cold, with breathing practices and go in a cold environment, it can be not very pleasant in the beginning, but just get used to it and make this habit. I cannot have day when I have no cold shower. It just feels so good, and we know that it's anti-aging as well, and we know that we all here, probably majority of us is 30 plus, 40 plus. We have to work on that as well. And I think because rosacea is related to not related, yeah, it is related to age. Like teenagers will not have a rosacea, so we have to work on anti-aging as well a little bit, because when we do all these lifestyle habits, then we have a chance that we slow down the aging, which it will help us as well with other stuff, like you mentioned as well, osteoporosis. Yes, so for that we have to move, and we do really have to do exercise and eat a lot of vegetables, not only dairy, but really a lot of vegetables and a lot of good quality meat that would help us to achieve this. But really the bone density must come from lifting something heavy. This is something that we have to do. And so as well, recognizing the the skin products is important. I'm not touching this much in this workshop because I'm not the expert. That's why I would love to have more interviews with Shannon, because she is really expert in that area. But I would definitely, you ask me which clean cleanser I'm using. So I really love the brand Mad Hippie. I just bought it by accident in Whole Foods. Because before I spent thousands and thousands of very expensive cosmetics and nothing works, of course, because I needed to heal from inside out. But as I shared, my friend on Instagram, she is pH Balance. She has as well products that I try. She gave it to me. So you can check that, pH Balance, it calls. She's on Instagram. And then the Merida, I recently purchased, and I'm really intrigued. I'm really looking forward to it, because if I like it, I'm sure I will like it. This is something, if we can all have, then it will be great. So that's something, and really use as little as possible. I would not go overboard with putting too much of chemicals on your face, because again, we don't want interfere too much with, we want this all the bacteria on the skin, because they are really can help us to have the skin intact. And the daily activities, you have to recognize what you have to do if you may be not doing exercise enough, and really what are your stress levels, because especially when we have the flushes, we might recognize that it's always linked to some kind of stress, psychological stress. This is something that we know from science. It's a big trigger that the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal, the HPA, you might heard axis. It's one of the body's neuroendocrine networks that is responsible for to respond. That's a response to the stress that we have, the psychological stress. So always, what I do if I have stress, as I told you, I was in denial for years, like I'm not stressed, but I had this stress like constant, and it never stopped. So of course, then you exhaust from this, and then you just the body just crushed. And it's very simplistically explained. It's much more complicated than that. And in the skin, they really are kind of such a complex. We even didn't discover it, all of these, but now we know that there's dysfunction, the HPA dysfunction, this hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, which is basically a brain connecting with the adrenals. It's really important. And when sometimes we can have a benefit from the acute like phase of psychological stress that can help us. But when we have the chronic psychological stress that is on and on, goes for months, for weeks, this will really create negative feedback, and really will just be harmful for us in many ways. And that's why I will be talking more about it tomorrow. And especially when with the flushing, this is something we have to look at our mind. We have to look where we stress and really mitigate that, and learn how to respond instead of react. And it's a skill. It's just like a muscles. It's a skill that we have to learn. I had to learn it myself, and I'm still learning it. Either if you can do few things. You can do some mantra. You can do, just quick like pause. So you will just close your eyes. That's what I do sometimes when I have this little stress and I don't have much time. I just close my eyes. Yeah, you have to breathe with your stomach, first of all. And then I just will focus on my fingers, tip of my fingers. I do one hand, and I will really, nothing else matters at the moment, just focusing on my tip on my fingers, and I will do a second hand, and then I will do both. This might take me like 2 minutes, but this will completely take you away from this monkey mind, as they call in yogi. The yogis, this will take you away from this, and you kind of like, go back to yourself, because to be healthy, it's like a wholeness, to be home, and that's where everything kind of is aligned. That's where we kind of we can be healthy. We can produce the chemicals that are anti-inflammatory, that are putting all things in a place, and this is the best place to be. And when we are slowly and gradually in life, when we live, or when we kind of lose the contact with the body, this is when we develop symptoms. And as I say, let's be happy about rosacea, because it's visible and showing us the way, and really inviting us to have really deeper inquiry, and its entry point to have deeper conversation with our body. I will say it again, because it's just so important for you to realize this. And you can, yes, modern medicine can give you antibiotics, which is fantastic. Take it. Do what you learned this week to manage it better with the antibiotics. So you will take a lot of vegetables, you will take probiotics, so you can reestablish the wheat, seed, and feed your gut microbiota. If you didn't watch it yesterday, watch it. We talk about it there just in really quickly, because how much I can tell you in 1 hour, not it's like really just quick points. And it's really important. So it's like really, I hope you get where I'm going with this. It's like it's a holistic view. It's not only that one thing works, like people can change the amalgam fillings, which is good idea if you do that with a dentist that knows how to do that. It's amazing. But it's much more than that. Sometimes only that works. But I think usually it needs more wider approach, more holistic approach to really get to this healthy state, and really see, because sometimes when we are just trying new cosmetics, or when we're taking off the toxins, and this is something when we just need to clean the liver, it can be really fast. But when we have to reestablish the gut health, it might take months. And so I will talk about liver health tomorrow, because I always say, and this is the mantra that I always say, and you will hear me repeat it and again, that is that we have to protect the liver, feed the gut. It's like, if you do these two things, you will definitely heal. And like, there's no way you wouldn't, because this is the majority of things that really are behind the inflammation. It's behind the toxicity that show up in the face. As I told you, it can be other stuff, it can be the Demodex, but or other, like the mold toxins. But again, if it's all goes into the body, and then it's accumulate in the liver. So we have to protect the liver, and we have to feed the gut microbiota, because they run everything in the body, everything. So again, I drifted because I want to share so much. But another point now that I want to mention today is fasting. So it's something that I mentioned before. I mentioned autophagy before, but I want to really go back today and give it like maybe, I don't know, 5-10 minutes to tell you about fasting, because it's really, really important, and because it's people doing it so wrong. So I just want to tell you how is it done correctly, that you don't harm your body, and that you just have only benefits. So it's fasting, or we can call it as well restricted eating. Really, it's not starving. Like, it's not fasting is not starving, and it's not dieting either. It's just kind of pattern of eating. That is something that we didn't develop, like we didn't like, it's nothing new. This is something that our ancestors did it by, something that they did all the time, because the food was not on the tables like we have today. They had to really gather, and they use a lot of energy, looking for the food. So many hours they didn't eat, and so our body is used to this. And in 100 years now, if we look back 100 to 200 years, we really now overeating in majority, but we are undernourished, because that's the problem that we have. That doesn't matter if someone eating a lot, that will have the nutrients that needs to be running the body well. And so that's why it's a lot of now, so science is saying that we are overeating, but we are undernourished, which is something that we know, that we have many nutrient deficiencies. There are some B vitamins, there are some as well magnesium, which we know, vitamin D, another one. But as I said, before you take something like in the dose that you would like to kind of use every day, all year round, better if you get tested. I was never keen on supplementing anything. I was never kind of there. But when I test my blood, and I found that I'm deficit on vitamin D, I was pretty shocked. It was like several years ago. It was way before COVID. It was like, thank you, 5 years ago. And I was really cooking the whole meal from whole foods like for a long time, and I was still deficient, because we don't have the same nutrients that our ancestor had. Like our grandma, the apple that we have today has no same nutrients like our grandma has, and the meat is the same. So that's why it's important to really, when you fast, that you have food that is really good quality. That's the first thing. And I see that people so, oh, I fasted, they're so proud that they fast for 16 hours, and then they have whatever they want, like hamburger and the donut. This is not a point. This is not a point, because you're not really helping your body, because then you are on sugar roller coaster first. Second, you're not feeding so you're not protecting your liver. Second, you are not feeding the gut bugs with the fiber that I told you yesterday. Fiber is absolutely critical to really feed the good bugs, because these good bugs creates metabolites, the short chain fatty acids. I said only remember that word, short chain fatty acid. And then these goes to the bloodstream and really are anti-inflammatory. So that's another reason, among having more vitamins and minerals and all these polyphenols that we know that are so healing. So that's why always, if you don't fast, always choose really the best you can, that you really can kind of heal body with the food. That's why food is medicine. Food is medicine. And it's something we know. We don't need to act towards. We have, and that's the food. And if we eat good food, whole foods that has no label, that are really humanly raised animals, and vegetables that are not sprayed too crazy with chemicals, we can really create so much goodness in the body. I am. Wait. Let's go back. Now, can you see me? I think I was can you hear me now? Is everything working? I hope so. Let me know if it works, that I don't talk. Sarah, thank you, Sarah. So it's like, again, these things are fantastic, because if we can talk, you are from everywhere. But if it doesn't work, it's like we can't persuade it. It just doesn't work. So I hope I'm happy that's working. Okay, good. So yeah, so back to fasting. So yeah, you have to always make sure that you're having the best of the best of the food. Sometimes it is investment for it's like it's not cheap. I understand that, but as my value is health as the biggest one, I rather buy good vegetables instead of new t-shirt, or so it's personal. It's a personal a choice, and it's really sometimes the nuts and seeds are really crazy expensive. I agree, but again, if you are kind of if you are wise how you're using them, we can really kind of make it happen. And as I show you on day 2, I think, with the vegetables that are really not expensive at all, if you have majority of that, that's really something that we can do. And so the first thing is, don't, if you start fast, you may have to make sure that you eat good food. Otherwise, what happens, that was mistake that I did when I started this 7 years ago. I start fasting then, and I just didn't eat enough in this 8-hour window, and I start losing muscles. And I'm thinking, wow, this is crazy. And so that was my mistake that I made. So I have to really build it up again. So don't make the same mistake. You have to, and we know now with age, we have to eat good food. We have to eat protein. Sometimes, I'm now pro as well. The protein powder are really good, as I'm against anything that is processed. Like what I'm really against is a bone broth in a bottle or in a jar. Like, unless it's really made somewhere in a farm and you know that they just made it yesterday, yes, buy it because it's time saving, but it's so easy to make, and it's not difficult, and it's very cheap. I was able to buy in the farm, you can buy this bag of the chicken, and it costs 3 of them, and it costs like $8. So it's really affordable. And you put as well the feet from the chicken, and the insides of the chicken. That's only way how you can feed and nourish the cells in the gut lining, as I showed you yesterday. Wait, some of you were not here. We need to feed, and because these cells, they can change in 2-3 days. So we can do massive change in depending on what we're feeding the body. Because if we have this scenario, they need to be they need to be regenerate. And that's why I'm talking today about fasting, because if you combine fasting and nourishment, you will have fantastic results. And why we need to fast is because we need to start this process of autophagy, which is a process of like self-eating kind of self-eating a process. It's a process of recycling waste in the cells. So it's not only in the gut cells, it's basically everywhere. The process is there to help us to really to slow down aging, and really by regenerating the cells. That's why it's so amazing how much we can achieve when we stop eating for certain hours. I mean, there was a Japanese researcher, and he ended up receiving the Nobel Prize for breakthrough from autophagy. And so it's something that we need to be aware that this autophagy will happen after 16 hours or more that we don't eat. So it doesn't help if you do 12 hours. Please, I cannot advise you to fast. I'm just telling you general what we know from science, and what if you are deciding to do, and you ask your physician that you can do that. This is what I would suggest, that this is the way we know from that it works. So it's 16 hours. So that means that 8 hours you eat and 16 hours you don't eat. This is something that will be difficult if you are still on sugar roller coaster. What it means is that when you are on sugar roller coaster and you're eating donuts, you're eating pasta, you're eating bread, you're eating all these carbs, which when they break down in the body, they will become sugar at the end of the day. And absolutely worst are the foods that are promoted as healthy. Yogurt, that is like promoting, sorry, I don't want to call brands, but these brands that promoting health, and they're full of sugar, especially the high fructose corn syrup. Please don't touch that, because this will cause you the more damage. This will actually is linked to leaky gut. So if you eat more fructose, you will have more leaky gut. That's one. Second is that you have to really think of this sugar roller coaster, because it's a vicious cycle. Less sleep you have, more cravings you will have in the morning. And then when you eat at night, it will disrupt your sleep. And then again, in the morning, you will have more cravings. If you eat on empty stomach, something sweet, absolute disaster. Please never do that. If you remember nothing from today's lesson, if you just don't eat on empty stomach something sweet, even if it's like donut or if it's croissant, it will spike the I tested so many times. It spiked the sugar so high that it creates a high insulin. And when we have high insulin, we have inflammation. And when you start the inflammatory process in the body, it's all the cascades of chemicals that you don't want to have. And that's what is really like, even the 3 cookies. Yes, even the 3 cookies. Like, we have to be diligent in the beginning a little bit. I don't want to be, like it's a military. It's not, I don't want to create this kind of this feeling that like it's impossible to do this. No, it's not. But it's just in the beginning, it will help you to go over the, when you will like, it will speed the process of like, my gosh, the cookies are here, but yes, I know they will taste good, but I am not having them. This will be the power of when you balance your hormones from insulin to leptin to ghrelin to all these estrobolome. Estrobolome are the estrogen that it's like, it's another thing that I'm not talking about this at all here. Estrobolome it's extra kind of, not extra, but it's only microbes that are influencing our hormone, female hormone, all these estrogen, progesterones, and everything. So it's like when you put, that's why the balancing the insulin pathway, the sugar pathway, it's just so big that it can like has hence in everything in our physiology. And that's why the fasting can help. As I told you, there is this Jason Funk wrote many things about this. And now the new girl, she is not saying anything new, but she was really smart how she put it together, Glucose Revolution. It was really like in a simplistic way. And so that's something that I would suggest if you have, or you can ask me. I send you my webinars, which are really as well good. But back to fasting. Fasting is really important because you will start the autophagy. Autophagy will help you regenerate. And when you start regenerating, you will teach the body that yes, it's time now. You have space to regenerate. It's good for the liver. Liver cells can regenerate. When we fast, we have to have, if you're waking up at night, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, it's the liver calling. And this is when really the fasting is fantastic tool to really to start applying. Again, not if you are, have a history of eating disorders, or if your BMI is very low. It's not something that I would suggest, but it's always good to, then you have to really make sure that you eat during this 8-hour windows, nourishing food that, I was talking about it yesterday. That is something that we don't want to have for inflammatory food. We want to have anti-inflammatory food. And the best way is that when you're preparing yourself, this is the way of life, is not something that we want to create, that we will not be able to achieve, and really start eating more plant food. The variety is key. Why we want variety? Because each of these gut bacteria, it will consume different food. Even I told you the carrot example, the carrot purple or orange will attract different microbiota, and more diverse microbiota we'll have, more beauty we will have, more health we will have. And we as well need this vegetables because they're rich in antioxidants, and we know that we need antioxidants because they can prevent, they can help prevent, they can help delay and repair the type of cell tissues and damage. And when we have damage in the face, of course, we need these foods, the phytonutrients, all these fantastic vegetables that we have either cooked and as well raw. But again, if you're healing your gut, that's why it's again so personalized, because I can't tell you eat this. It will never work because we all so different. And so that's why I think general rule is start with really cooked meals. So that's why I told you the GAPS diet is starting with chicken soup, which is really healing because it has the amino acids that are needed for this repair of the gut lining. And it's something that I do sometimes now only as a anti-aging kind of process. So I do that for 1 week, just chicken soup, and I feel amazing. And I can see like I'm more, my skin glowing more. So, but it's just me. This is not, I didn't look at the science. We know that, but I don't know if it's just my experience I'm sharing now. And I know that people who does that, not only that your skin improve, but actually the overall health will improve, and you will get rid of these bad gut bugs that you carrying in your guts. That because if you don't feed them, they will starve and they will disappear. So that's the the approach that is anti-inflammatory instead of the pro-inflammatory, which are all these deep fried, sweet cereals, processed food. Even minimally processed, like I would not touch it, especially now in the beginning when you don't know what your body can handle. So my body can handle a croissant, but it cannot handle a fried fish, like fish and chips. If I fish and chips, I'm feeling heavy, and I might expect not after one meal, but if I have it a few days, I can have red nose or something else. So we have to find out what is it for us. Chips, I would not touch. Like, and some of the people, they have huge cravings and they have this salty snack, and it's really hard to stop. But if you I remember I have a client and she always said, but Radka, I need something at the evening to crunch on. And we ended up ended up having a guacamole or hummus that she made herself, and then she was just crunch on celery stick and carrot stick or pepper stick, pepper chopped, and she would just this way. And because you're eating these low glycemic meals, you're training your body to being on the the fat burner. When I told you to coming from the sugar burner to fat burner, when you have flexible metabolism that only 12% of America have, this is what I want for you, because when you will have that, you will be able to fast in a safe way, and you will be not having this like cravings that you cannot manage. This is a really great place to be. And so what is linked to this, I have to hurry up because I have so many points here. Oh, 7 points. Okay. What is linked to this is circadian rhythm, because when we want to fast overnight, we want to fast when I call it circadian fasting. So that's something that Sachin Panda from Self Institute, they work on it years in the lab, and they find out that we have to really tune in, because this is something that we have to pay attention to, the light and dark cycle. And I have here just quick, as you know how it works. So this is the brain. This is my drawing. This is the brain. This is the place in the brain that you have to pay attention. And then this is the eye, okay? And this is light or a dark night. And so we have this, and we follow the light dark cycle. And this is generated in the brain, and that drives the production of pineal gland to produce melatonin. So when it's dark, the eye information goes to the brain and say, it's dark. So that's why midnight and later we will have melatonin production. And we can sleep, we can regenerate, because melatonin influence our immunity, our blood pressure, our cell metabolism, our bone metabolism as well, for those who are scared of osteoporosis. This is as well linked with melatonin. We have to have proper sleep. We have to, this is pineal gland, we have to have no light at the evening, not from the top, that we can really reset. And this is because then the melatonin can be suppressed. And so when we suppress melatonin production, we're creating kind of mess in the body that you don't want to have. And so it's really important for many physiological functions to really to have melatonin and cortisol have in order. So when it's dark, we produce melatonin. When it's light, we produce cortisol. We want to have cortisol in the morning. And when during COVID, there was a lot of people that suddenly had like problems with sleeping because they didn't go out, and you cannot get this information through the window. You have to go out in the light to get information in your eye, to receive the bright light information in the eye as safe as you can. So the body, So you can convert the light information that's in the eye that's coming to your retina to the brain. And if it's lent to the brain in electrical signal, the brain will then tell to every cell in your body that is a day. So this is so we don't talk about it enough, I think, and this is so important because it interferes with everything. So if we are out of sync, the body cannot function. Whatever we do, we will not be. But again, I said, go in a light outside, but never, please stare in the sun when it's painful to look, because you can damage your retina. Very important. And I would absolutely avoid light from 11 o'clock at night till 4. If you go to night after 11, try to do your commitment list. List of commitments that you will just commit to, and try to go earlier to bed. Like I had something that I struggle. I told you I struggle with all of this. I'm telling you this week. I was a special case because I guess God gave me this to to be able to teach you now. And it's something that we have to have proper night sleep. I even bought a Aura ring, which is a ring that really can help me to discover what I have to work on regarding sleep. But to really be in sync with outside, it's really important. And so this was really something that I want to share with you, because it's not only, I'm always talking about it as well when we're talking about, the metabolic health, but as well with the skin, we need to be as much as possible outside, because the skin, not only we get all the microbes from outdoor, but as well we need the light information so the body can really work properly. And I'm sure you can as well see the difference when you have days when you are in the office, when there's no oxygen and when there's no air, and when it's heavy air or there's a dry air, your skin will even start maybe flushing. I mean, I had that before. I have both actually. And I was not perimenopausal. It was when I had my rosacea. I was 34, 36. So I was like breastfeeding my daughter. So I was definitely not perimenopausal, and I had flushing from when I was sitting in a room when there was really no air and it was very dry. I would just I had already inflammation, and on top of everything, I would just flush. So definitely that was something, probably was stress related, but definitely as well the environment. We always have to find a way to do the best in a situation that we're in. Of course, I'm not telling you to like kind of change your life today, but if we want to heal, we have to create healing lifestyle, the lifestyle that heals. And it takes some time and takes some effort, but you know what? It's nothing impossible. It is very possible, and I was able to do that. So I mean, everybody can do that. And so similar to that is exercise. I know there is a lot of information that is like you can't do sauna, you can't do this, you can't do running because then you go red. It's really, you have to find what is your tolerance, but any movement is exercise. It can be chore around the house, like walking, doing gardening, doing dancing. This will help you when you dance or you do something that you love. It will help you to be more in a goddess. When I told you the either you are in mindset of a queen or goddess. So the queen is some like ticking the boxes and like, yes, doing the things, but like, okay, have expectations and it should be like this, and why I'm not healing, instead of the goddess going from this abundance and just doing things that will feel good and just go, with the flow a little bit, because it's only way how we can, oh, somebody else is here. So it's only way how we can heal. And so exercise is something that will help you as well balance all the, help you with the insulin pathway as well, because when you eat, so for example, I did as well test it for 1,000 times, that if you have something sweet, or even if you decide you will have something sweet, do one thing after that, go for a walk, or put the music and dance, or just do gardening. Obviously, sometimes when we have lunch, we can like bend, but move your body, go for a walk. It's the easiest way. Your sugar, the blood sugar with insulin will blunt. So you will not be in the risk of going to this inflammatory state, because every time when we are having a high blood sugar in the it will be everywhere in the blood. That means it will be in these vessels everywhere. And when we have that, the insulin, it will be high, and again it will support all these inflammatory, the pathway that will lead to inflammation. That's why it's so important. That's so important that food is a medicine, because whatever we eat, we can really regenerate as well the vasculature. So if you think that yes, you can have laser, but you can really influence how your skin will look depending what you eat. There's enough research on that. There is one guy that calls Dr. Lee. I show you his book. Where is his book? Here. Eat to Beat Disease. Can you see that? This gentleman, this doctor, he wrote about new science on how your body can heal itself. He is not saying we have very similar approach, and he is actually all his thing is about vessels. So he's will give you tips on food that will create more vessels, which we sometimes need, and vessels that we don't, if there's somewhere when, like on the face, when as well the dilatation, it's like it's all can be influenced by food, and about what we think about ourselves, how we move our body, how we stressed, and so on. And so this was kind of, I think I leave the points, the 4 points for tomorrow, because we're running out of time. And I said always that it's actually 1 hour. Anyway, it's points that I will talk tomorrow. So I will talk tomorrow about that. And I will just check about the questions here. Let's see. Okay. Oh my God. So you're saying, yeah, I'm looking towards to really the Merida, because I think all the ingredients are good. So let's see. So yes, I don't know. Yes. Yeah, so can you talk about ocular rosacea? Yes, so ocular rosacea is something that that requires more testing, because as I said, anybody who has ocular rosacea, please try to Google now. Try to Google the test for omega-3, omega-6 fatty acids ratio, and go from there. Because we know the gut microbiome, basically you do the same thing that I was telling this week, but you will learn a lot about the omega-3, omega-6 fatty acids ratio, which is really inflammatory. And we know that if people without testing start consuming the omega-3 rich food and supplements, they can have better results. But as again, it's really fiber. Example, what food you eat is fiber. So yeah, so fiber, it's in all vegetables. So I love, if you ask me what to take to desert island, I said it before Mindy. So Mindy was in my other sessions, so she might heard it before. But my food that I will take to desert island will be blueberries and flax seeds. I love flax seeds. They're rich in omega-3 and they're rich in fiber. And I really love that because it really just helps me to actually, as well, my hair grows better. Everything is better. How do you fast? So I fast. There's few types of fasting. Again, I don't have time to tell you all of this, but there's a fast. Yeah, wait, I have to stop it and then I have to